extra run? Should they speed it up a little bit, or they got a lot of athletes on there? Then they got Ricky Rubio, who
just let them do what they do. Let them run. Just run. Just take advantage of what.
Pekovic is still a strong, nice center.
Just take advantage of what you. Just take advantage of what you have and go.
All right, we'll end with this here. LeBron admits there's a great chance that it could have been a great chance of return to the Heat. They
just shut up.
It would have been. He quotes saying it would have been hard to leave back to back championships and try to go for 4. But obviously, you can't really live and think what may have happened. I've always been a person to kind of live in the moment. Thoughts on his comment as a Miami Heat fan.
Blah blah blah, blah blah, blah 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 blah.
That's all you're hearing right now, huh?
I'm hearing the damn teacher from Charlie Brown. Wah 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Dude, you made a personal decision based off what everybody else wanted to do.
Yeah.
You went with your family, you went with your friends, and everybody else were like, we want to go back to Cleveland. That's what you did. If y'all would have won last year, you would have did it anyway. You would have did the exact same thing because that's what your family wanted to do. It was never about basketball. It was about your family. If you come out and say that, we'd have much more respect for you than you keep coming up with these bull mess answers. The thing was, you wanted to go for your family, just say it, and you'll be done with it. Because if it was for a basketball purpose, you would have stayed in Miami.
I kind of wish you would answer this question like, hey, you know what, Miami, my years in Miami was great. I'm on to going back to Cleveland and leave it at that. Instead of saying like stuff like this, because you know, stuff
this
like
is stuff
like
this,
to me. Like you and other Heat fans is this like, why say this? Really?
Just shut up.
Pretty much. That's what y'all like. Just shut up. Like, I don't want to hear this.
Just go back. We have moved on. You've moved on.
Yeah.
We've moved on. You just hush. Right. Don't say nothing about it. Just hush. We know that the reason you went home was because of your family and friends, and y'all can get away with much more in Cleveland than you could in Miami. Just go home, go back. Let your boys enjoy running amok in Cleveland. Yeah. Let all that shit go on. We fine and dandy. We'll let Chris Bosh take over the offense. We'll let him turn into the 25-10 person a game he was in Toronto. We'll be fine.
Gotcha.
We'll see you in the playoffs.
All right. Well, I'm rubbing my chuck because basketball training camp just a week away. But before we close, I know that my boy to my right here is a big Yankees fan. And as you know, it's Derek Jeter's last home game tonight, and I want you to speak on that as a Yankees fan, or a Derek Jeter fan as well, too. So, your thoughts about his last home game, his career?
Derek Jeter was everything that was right about baseball. He played the game the way the game was supposed to be played, and he played it with honor and class. He was never the guy you look at and go, he's on steroids. He was never the guy you look at and was like, well, he's this way or he's that way. He's an arrogant prick. He's never been that guy. When you say the Yankees, names come to mind: Ruth, DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris. Some of those guys. Derek Jeter, for this generation, is those guys to the older generation of Yankee fans. Now Derek Jeter is that guy for a generation of Yankee fans. He's done what you want your professional athlete. He's done everything you want your professional athletes to do, and he's been everything that you want your professional athletes to be. A good role model, a guy that shows up, works hard every day, and does it right. To me, he's Mr. Yankee. To me, he's one of the best postseason baseball players to ever have lived. He ranks number one in many a category in the postseason when it matters. People were talking about his regular season stuff and everything like that. That's not when it matters. When it mattered to him was they made it. Thanks to him, a lot of times they made it into the World Series. But in the World Series is where he shined. And where his moments were made was in the playoffs. This guy was the constant professional. I hate to see him go because I like the man. The man was nothing but class. Great dude. I've had the pleasure of meeting, talking to him, getting to be on the same field with him. I'll tell you a story. We're gonna go off, but
no, go ahead.
When we
this
were,
is not. This is what I want.
when I was in the military, I was stationed in Tampa. New York Yankees trained in Tampa. They had a day to where George Steinbrenner was real good friends with the chief on our base, and he goes, "Well, why don't y'all bring some guys down to training camp, and y'all can hang out on the field and everything like that, and a bunch of guys." Well, the chief was really close to me because I always worked in the motor pool, and I drove him around a lot. I drove the chief around whenever they had a special thing come up. They would come and get me because I was good friends with Chief, and I was good friends with the guy that worked right under him. He used to work with us specifically, but then he moved over to that one. So he would always ask me if I wanted to go do certain things. So I would always drive them to sporting events and stuff like that because they knew I always wanted to go. So I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I'll go. It's free." So they got that call, and they called the motor pool, which I was working at, and they were like, "Hey, we want to see if Carter can drive us down to this thing, and he's going to be there all day. So we want to know if y'all can." And they're like, "Yeah, sure, he can drive y'all down there." They didn't tell me what it was. So we get on the bus. I'm like, "Where are we going, Chief?" He goes, "Oh, we're going to the Yankee field." He goes, "We're all going and spending the day with the Yankees." I was like, "You're shitting me." That was my first words. I'm like, "You're shitting me." He goes, "No, I'm not shitting you." He goes, "Do you got to get stuff from your house?" I'm like, "Yes." It's like, "I need stuff to get autographed." So we went down to the thing, and I didn't go and get nothing from my house because I was already at work. So I was like, "We'll just go." So they told us, just change your clothes, bring a change of clothes, whatever you want to wear, you can wear. So I had my Yankees jersey on, and I had my hat on. I had my Posada jersey on because I was a real huge fan of Jorge, which was another class act guy that played for that organization as well. That will always be one of those guys that he didn't get the hoopla and everything of some of these guys leaving, but he was a steady person as well for that team as well.
Right.
But we went to the thing, so we're all standing around, and all of them come walking out, and you're sitting there going, "It's the fucking Yankees, man. We're on the damn field with them." So then all of a sudden, all of them go, "Okay, well, y'all go and play catch or do whatever y'all want." So my instant reaction was like, "What?" And Jorge was over there playing catch with the pitchers and everything because they were all warming up and doing everything. So I was like, "And there's Derek Jeter." I was like, "Hey, Derek, you mind if I..." He was like, "Oh, no." So me and Derek, I was playing catch on the field with Derek Jeter.
What? This is awesome.
So then we got done. They got done playing catch and everything. And the whole time, Derek Jeter's on one end, but another one of our soldiers or our airmen are on the other end. Playing catch right next to me was Alex Rodriguez. So I'm standing there talking to A-Rod while we're throwing the ball back and forth to Derek Jeter and stuff like that. And then on your other side, you get somebody else. So, but they were all talking to everybody. But Derek in particular, Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, all in particular took time to go and talk to every single military person.
That is awesome.
Every single one of us. Some of the guys just were kind of off. Like, I talked to Jorge and everybody, but you can tell we're certain people who they were wanting to talk to.
Yeah.
But those three guys took their time out to talk to every single guy that was there.
That's fantastic.
Did whatever they wanted, took pictures with everybody and everything like that. And this was before the good cell phones came out where you could take pictures on yourself. So we all had disposable cameras, and my pictures are in the box somewhere in the room. But you got to talk to all of these guys. And Derek Jeter was the most down-to-earth guy I've ever talked to. That on a professional level, on him being a professional athlete, was one of the most down-to-earth people that I've ever got to talk to. And him just talking to me, him taking time out playing catch with me, They were throwing batting practice with us, so we got to stand in and take bat practice. I sucked at baseball, so I was like, is there a basketball? Is y'all got like a little basketball hoop or something? Which they ended up having a basketball hoop under the building. Nice. So we went and all played a little basketball and stuff like that too. So, but we got to spend a day with those guys. And
dude, that's awesome, man.
And just to see how cool Jeter was to everybody and how gracious he was to everybody. And even when we did a thing to where it was the Air Force's birthday and we walked out on the field for Tropicana Field, and this was during the regular season, they happened to be playing the Yankees. And we come walking out, all the Yankees were there. They all stood up, got on the thing, and were clapping as we come walking out. But Derek Jeter took the time to shake every single person that was walking out's hand. Him and Roger Clemens were always shaking. Roger Clemens was a big military person, as it was, being from Texas and stuff. So he was one of those cool dudes, too, as well, that took time out when he knew you were in the military and would do that. But Derek always came across with class, and he always came across as being Mr. He's Mr. Yankee to me. I know a lot of people, Babe Ruth, Mr. This dude is Mr. Yankee to me. That's awesome. And he always will be, just because of how he presented himself on the field and how he always did everything the right way. Whether it was hustling down first base when he knew he was going to get thrown out, whether it was just doing the little thing. He will always be that dude to me.
Fantastic story, man. I'm glad you shared that. Awesome. I said, Derek Jeter, man, I don't watch much baseball, but I know who you are. Man, it's been awesome kind of hearing this story from Kevin. And I heard a few stories about you and everything. I knew that commercial. That was pretty cool. So,
the Gatorade commercial was pretty neat. Yeah.
So definitely kudos to you and congrats on the career and whatever you do. Hopefully we see you in broadcasting. I think you'll make a heck of a broadcaster for baseball. So even you go on ESPN and do that, you sound very articulate and everything like that. So I think you do a very good job pulling that off.
And just money.
Yeah, and his personality too. So I think he'll do a good job.
Yeah, he's money on whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is a sad, sad day.
Yeah, I know. For Yankees.
Well,
it's a sad day.
He finishes up his career. It's not over yet. The last games are in Fenway Park.
Ooh, we go to Boston, huh?
Yeah, he goes to Boston, and the last games are in Fenway.
Boston. I'm from. I was there for 2 years. Show that man some respect.
Boston. That's the thing about Boston. That's the thing about Boston. They may hate the Yankees.
But they respect.
But they know. Well, they did the same thing last year when Mariano Rivera retired. Everybody gave him a standing ovation. Boston played Inner Sandman when he was coming out for one of his last games in Boston, and they played Inner Sandman, and the place went nuts when Mariano Rivera came out, which is another awesome dude. He took time out with all of us at that thing as well. Most of the Yankees took time out with us.
Dude, that's awesome.
But he's one of those guys we need to focus on with everything bad happening in sport. He's one of those good dudes that we always need to look upon as being, everybody's not always bad in sports. He's one of those guys.
Agreed, man. All right, well, we got a football game that's on right now. You got the Redskins and the Giants, so let me
tell you who's winning.
We'll find out who's winning here. Why he's finding out. I want to say, by the way,
7-0 the Giants. No Eli's fading yet.
No Eli fading
Kirk
yet.
Cousin fumble.
I want to South Park, whatever that episode that
I watched it.
That episode that you did on them was hilarious, by the way. A Goodell bot.
I watched it. The best part was seeing all the owners.
Did you see Jerry Jones' eyes?
Did you see Shaq Khan's mustache?
Yes. Like, they just mess with everybody, man. It was so funny, dude. And just the
Jerry Jones' eyes were so far apart. No, they're not.
And then the Goodell bot blow up and everything like that. Oh, my gosh.
The Goodell bot's broke.
What we going to do about it? Mill another one. Make another one. That was classic, by the way.
We have changed our name to the Washington Cow!
As Kevin did that the whole football game there. There was a fan named Cal on his coach jersey.
And he kept dancing.
Stop
dancing, Cal!
Oh, man.
Cal! Why are you dancing, Cal?
Thank you for Kevin comic relief at the game, and things with South Park were ripping on the NFL.
Oh, it was so funny.
The South Park did
It was pretty good. I'm not usually a big South Park fan, but that was pretty fun.
The funny part was too in the preview, like the clips of the show, they had RG3 there.
Yeah, but they didn't. They had a white guy,
and they switched him to Kirk Cousins. So South Park's on top of the game, dude. Credit to you. All right, let's close that. It's about to be.
I thought it was Rex Grossman. Oh, no, never mind.
Nice.